Nachibuka Priscilla Sarah announces the disappearance of her son Nicholas Chigundu, who was last seen in Nalia Kawanda. Nicholas Chigundu disappeared in Butabika, where he had gone to get psychiatric treatment. He was wearing black jeans and a sweater with green sleeves. Nicholas Chigundu is mentally unstable. Nachibuka Priscilla Sarah appeals to whoever has seen Nicholas Chigundu to contact her on 0740 957 036 or report to the nearest police station. A reward awaits.
The family of Apollo Wodokero Lawok and late Margaret Achen Lawok regret to announce the untimely death of their beloved son, Professor Stephen Opio Lawok, which occurred on the 28th December 2021 in Sweden. The body arrives in Uganda on the 13th of January 2022, and there will be a vigil at the residence of Winnie Lawok Olwe in Mutungo, Kampala. Requiem service will be held the following day, 14th January 2022 at All Saints Cathedral at 10 a.m. Thereafter, the body leaves for Gulu, where Professor Stephen Opio Lawok will be laid to rest on 15th January 2022 at Custom Corner. May the soul of Professor Stephen Lawok rest in eternal peace.
It is just 1 minute past 9 p.m. Thank you so much for watching UBC TV Inspiring Uganda. Welcome to UBC News Tonight. My name is Sharon Kyomugisha with Nakakoni Elizabeth on sign language. And our top stories of the day.
Brought to you by
Outlet Points. Just use MTN to make calls, send SMS, load airtime, buy bundles, or pay for MTN subscription services.
Everywhere you go, MTN.
Is parents still holding learners at home? Criminals take advantage of neglected police books to rob cars. What's going on? Ministry of Health launches mass polio vaccination in Wakiso district. Lanky Cranes defender Mashid Juko quits international football.
Was brought to you by Everywhere you go, MTN.
Well, welcome once again to UBC News Tonight. In our top stories of the day, State Minister for Primary Education, Dr. Joyce Moriko Kaduchi, has said government will arrest parents who have failed to return children to school. She was addressing journalists in Kampala today.
And Save the Children Uganda has launched a back-to-school campaign to ensure children get a right to education.
Officially to launch
State Minister for Primary Education, Joyce Moriko Kaduchi, says parents are responsible for ensuring children get quality education.
That all schools maintain the school fees at the level of Term 1 2020 must be adhered to.
Street children and vendors will benefit from the back-to-school campaign on increase on school dues and expelling students. Government is to transfer teachers who flout government directives.
That all schools maintain the school fees at the level of Term 1 2020 must be adhered to. 2. For schools where the parents have already paid the top-up fees, the charges would be rolled over to the subsequent terms in academic year 2020. 2. As prepaid fees for the next term.
The director, Save the Children, Bev Roberts, asked other stakeholders to join the cause of ensuring children get back to school.
So what can you do? First of all, go to school. Take a friend to school with you. Tell your parents and caregivers how much you love school and learning. That again goes back as well to what we said about calling on not just parents, but calling on the community, calling on neighbors, calling on the private sector, calling on all partners to support and ensure that all children can go back to school.
Molindwa Ishmael, the Assistant Commissioner Private Schools Policy Regulations, says the Ministry of Education has set penalties for educationalists violating the set regulations.
Some of these sanctions to our teachers, to those who have become very erratic. So we say, please, we can interdict, we can...
Irene Faith Nantongo, UBC News.
In more news, State Minister for Higher Education, Dr. John Chrysostom has expressed government commitment to improve the education sector. He was speaking at the signing of a memorandum of understanding as government was receiving ownership of Mountain of the Moon Private Chartered University to a public university in Kabarore District. Kasibante reports.
Government has taken up 10 public universities across the country through Memorandum of Understanding between government and private owners. Mount of the Moon Private Chartered University Council in Kabarore District has also become a public university. Other universities include Makerere University, MUBS, Gulu University, Kabale University, Busitima University, Mbara University. The signing ceremony was presided over by the State Minister for Higher Education, Dr. John Chrysostom at the Ministry of Education in Kampala. He commended the founders of the university for their decision to hand over the ownership to government.
The process, the commencement of the full operations of the public university will be on the 1st July 2022. This is to enable all the critical remaining processes to be concluded smoothly. Please note that with the signing of the MOA, the authority of Mountain of the Moon Private University ceases, as government will have taken over. The Mountain of the Moon Transition Task Force will remain as the interim authority to facilitate the constitution of the University Council and acquisition of the vote status among others.
During the transition period, the university lecturers and administration will continue working until the Ministry of Education finalizes plans of full responsibilities to own university. The officials from the Educational Council of Higher Learning and the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Education signed on behalf of government, and the Mount of the Moon University Council, led by Edward Rugumayo, represented the university. I'm Navka Farida and Salongo Kasbante in Kampala.
Mackay Memorial College Natete in Luwaga Municipality has initiated pre-counseling lessons to all students in every classroom to address psychological trauma the students have gone through the 2 years of total lockdown on the education sector. The principal Mackay Memorial College Natete, Mary Kaliango, asserts that before the start of every lesson, a teacher takes off 5 minutes to counsel the students on how to cope up with the situation caused during the lockdown. Details follow from Waita.
The approach to counsel learners at Mackay College Natete before classroom learning starts is aimed at addressing the psychological trauma that many of the students went through while out of school for 2 years of total closure of the education sector due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Mary Kalyango is the headmistress at Mackay Memorial College, Natete, says they have initiated an approach in which teachers conduct pre-counseling lessons of 5 minutes to learners before they start any class lesson.
We started off on Monday with the orienting students back in school, and on Tuesday we started on counseling sessions. We have engaged different counselors, specialists in counseling adolescents, and for the last 2 days it has been the norm. And we feel now the students are ready for school. And I would also like to observe that we have not seen a very big change in behavior. The students are very well disciplined.
At Mackay College, the school administrators have also intensified a reach-out approach to parents to enable students report back to school in this first week of reopening schools.
We tried to call all the students through their parents to check on them, on their status. And we were getting reports that they were fine and promised that they were coming back. So we are hopeful. Majority of those who have not turned up yet, it might be because of the financial challenges. They may report any time.
The observance of the standard operating procedures by all students is okay.
We have put many washing points in the different areas, and we have sanitizers in classes to ensure that students keep sanitizing all the time. And with the COVID task force is also vigilant in ensuring that all the students and everybody who comes in school wears a mask.
The school has called on the Ministry of Education and Sports to provide sufficient funding to enable the administrators provide conducive learning environment to learners. I'm Nafka Farida and Robert Bwaita.
Educationists in Hoima have welcomed the new curriculum that will reduce unemployment among learners who do not go for further studies after primary or secondary levels. Now, Sentongo Wilfred, the deputy head teacher in charge of academics at Central School Hoima, says that learners have to double their efforts to achieve tangible benefits.
The technical team has helped to reduce some of the too much work that has been given to learners. Some of it has been actually repetition. So, but when they merge these two, you find that there's some content in one topic, yet again you repeat it in the next class. So when they merge some of this content, really, it is going to help the teachers to use the available time to complete, and also to help the learners not to carry too much of the work because of repetition. So I'm happy of the new, the abridged curriculum.
Dr. Roles Bategeka, the chairman board Mandela SS, has appealed to financial institutions to reconsider interest rates so as to ease the tension of parents. Bategeka commended the parents for taking back the children to school despite the challenges by COVID-19, but cautioned them to liaise with the school administrators on paying school dues.
If you shy away from the banks, opening could be difficult because parents are also having challenges when it comes to financial, to having sufficient money to send their children to school. We have to tolerate these parents. We have not increased the fees. On the contrary, we have cut fees from 950,000 shillings to 700,000 for candidate classes.
We already have 30,000 of beans and 50 tons of posho. We are ready. Food, we have already stocked enough food than we can consume in this time. Actually, our food will push us up to July, especially beans.
Parents are up and down in preparation of bringing back their children to school. I think the government have taken the right decision because we have registered very many number of cases, negative ones, pregnant ladies, young kids. Others have even abandoned schooling.
In more news, Minister of State for Health Hanifa Kawoya launched a mass polio vaccination at Wakiso Health Center 4 in Wakiso District. She asked parents and guardians to bring all children under the age of 5 for vaccination. Now, the 3-day door-to-door exercise to start from the 14th to the 16th this month targets 8.7 million children.
Due to the ongoing circulation of this virus, all the children under 5 years of age are at risk of polio infection, and the World Health Country representative has said you can only leave your child behind at your own risk, and not only at your own risk, but to the risk of other children who will not be vaccinated. The RDC has emphasized it, and she has said, of course, as her mandate as the chairperson and the leader of security in this district, she will be out to look out for each and every baby that is supposed to be vaccinated.
To do a house-to-house vaccination of polio. And I would like to reassure you it is safe because all the necessary activities and materials and everything is ready to ensure that this is a safe vaccination campaign where infection prevention and control measures are all taken into consideration and arrangements are done. So my message is, yes, today is the launch, but the real campaign starts tomorrow. And make sure your neighbors, your friends, everyone you know who has a child under 5 to participate in this campaign so that we can kick polio out of the
Moving on from that, the legal team representing the 15 suspects in the twin bombing in Kampala has cited torture which was inflicted on their clients during and after arrest. Geoffrey Tuliamsima, one of the accused lawyers, asked court to first allow the accused to go for medical checkups from Africa's Center for Torture and Rehabilitation Victims.
The twin bombing in Kampala have appeared at Grade 1 Buganda Road Magistrates Court via video conferencing. But through their lawyer Geoffrey Tuliamsima, they alleged torture, which was inflicted on them during and after arrest.
Now, when they last appeared in court, they are all tortured and it was evident. Unfortunately, they snaked them in court. They brought them beyond the actual court time.
Tuliamsima, basing on this prayer, asked court to allow the accused to get medical examination with Africa Center for Torture and Rehabilitation Victims to confirm that torture inflicted on them. Tuliamsima also asked court to issue an order to prison authorities to allow lawyers and the relatives of the accused access them while in prison.
The fact that every time the family members try to go to prisons, they are not allowed. As the advocates, we need to pass through several conditions, which even when we feel, they inform us that we need to first go back to the headquarters, which of course it is illegal. Now we informed court about the same. Unfortunately, court has not made an order, but we shall try the same tomorrow, and thereafter we shall write a letter to court informing it about the next step of course of action.
Prosecution led by Thienso Patricia informed court that inquiries are still ongoing, thus requesting court for more time. Grade 1 Magistrate Muhumuza Asuman, who stood in for Chief Magistrate Douglas Singiza, adjourned the matter to 27th January 2022, when court will deliver its ruling on the Defense Counsel's prayers. The twin bombing occurred at CPS and Parliamentary Avenue on 16th November 2021. The 15 accused persons were remanded to their respective prisons. Deborah Namamonde, Nantong Rebecca, UBC News.
Thank you so much, Deborah Namamone. Now, UBC News Tonight will take a short commercial break and we'll be back with more stories, including business, world news, and sports news.
Everyone deserves more this festive season, which is why MTN Momo is giving you more Senkyu points on your MTN Momo withdrawals at agent locations. Get 150 Senkyu points for every 1,000 shillings spent in withdrawal fees. More Senkyu points means you get more free minutes, more free MBs, more free SMSs, and more free Momo Pay shopping. To use your Senkyu points, dial *141#. Everywhere you go, MTN.
Parents, guardians and caregivers, there's a confirmed polio outbreak in Kampala, and therefore the Ministry of Health will conduct a national house-to-house polio immunization campaign. The first round of the campaign will take place from Friday, the 14th of January to Sunday, the 16th of January 2022 in all districts of Uganda. During the national house-to-house polio immunization campaign, health workers will come to your homes and immunize all your children under 5 years of age. Please note that the national house-to-house polio immunization campaign does not replace the routine immunization. The polio vaccine is safe, effective, and free.
Parents, guardians and caregivers, please ensure that all your children under 5 years of age are immunized against polio during the national house-to-house immunization campaign from Friday 14th January to Sunday 16th January 2022. The dates for the second round of the campaign will be announced in due course. This message is from the Ministry of Health with support from UNICEF, World Health Organization and partners.
Transact and win money after money with Airtel Money. 1.5 billion shillings in cash prizes up for grabs.
I'm Sendi Kadiwamati, a student of Chambogo University. I've been a lucky winner of 10 million Ugandan shillings, and I'm really excited as I'm ending this year with all that lots of money. Guys, it's real. Just dial *185#.
The more you transact, the higher your chances of winning. Airtel Money, instant, secure, borderless.
Parents, guardians and caregivers, there's a confirmed polio outbreak in Kampala, and therefore the Ministry of Health will conduct a national house-to-house polio immunization campaign. The first round of the campaign will take place from Friday, the 14th of January to Sunday, the 16th of January 2022 in all districts of Uganda. During the national house-to-house polio immunization campaign, health workers will come to your homes and immunize all your children under 5 years of age. Please note that the national house-to-house polio immunization campaign does not replace the routine immunization. The polio vaccine is safe, effective, and free.
Parents, guardians and caregivers, please ensure that all your children under 5 years of age are immunized against polio during the national house-to-house immunization campaign from Friday 14th January to Sunday 16th January 2022. The dates for the second round of the campaign will be announced in due course. This message is from the Ministry of Health with support from UNICEF, World Health Organization and partners.
With Airtel Money School Pay. Dial *185#. Select option 6, School Fees. Select option 2, School Pay. Select option 1, Pay Fees. Enter student number. Enter the amount. Enter the PIN number to complete payment. Beat the back-to-school hustle today. Pay school fees conveniently using Airtel Money. Airtel Money. Instant, secure, borderless.
Welcome back from that short commercial break. In more stories, Vice President Major retired Jessica Lupo has said that it's time for the people of Teso and Karamoja to live in harmony as government continues to extend key services that cause change. She said government plans to open security roads between the two sub-regions to check cattle thefts from Karamoja. Now, Vice President Jessica Lupo was launching the rehabilitation of Olilim Agachali Road at Olilim Health Center 2 grounds in Katakwi District recently as she wound up a one-week walking visit for Teso sub-region.
The flagging off of the rehabilitation works of Olilimi, Guyaguya, Angelepo and Agachali Road by Vice President Major Retired Jessica Alupo in Olilimi Paris, Katakwi District marks the commencement of improved lifestyle in the lives of the people in the above-mentioned areas. Once opened, the road will set a conducive environment for improved economic activities, public services, and hence improved standard of living in the area. The Vice President was optimistic that the rehabilitation of Boda roads will impact greatly in the lives of the people of Teso and Karamoja and improve trade between them.
There's going to be reinforcement on all sub-counties bordering Karamoja. Reinforcement in whichever way, so that those cattle thefts can be stopped once and for all. We should now be talking about the time to stop them, not to reduce. We talked about time to reduce cattle thefts from 2005, 2000 and now 2022. We should be talking of stopping, complete stopping of those cattle theft. I request all of us to continue coexisting with our uncles, the Karamojongs, because we are the same people called Ateker, but I want us to follow the law. If it is a thief, it is a thief. They should be handled in courts of law. These thefts are taken for granted that these are rustlers. This is theft. People should be arrested and arraigned in the courts of law, prosecuted and imprisoned, so that others learn from that.
The Vice President thanked the people of Olilimi Paris for allowing the establishment of police training school, local defense training school, and UPDF field artillery school, saying this will enable the youth in the sister sub-regions get opportunity to join these institutions. She, however, allayed the fears of Katakwi political leadership over the environmental degradation in the area as the result of the existence of these institutions.
The idea to build permanent barracks there has already been finalized. So the issues of cutting trees will not be there anymore. Cutting trees to build small huts. So we are going to have permanent structures, Ministry of Defense, mostly through CDF, is where I learned from. The procedures have been finalized to have that as a permanent institution with the permanent structures, where when we are recruiting our children, people have where to sleep instead of going to destroy the environment in order to build a small hut.
The equipment and personnel used here will come from Ministry of Works and Transport. No contractor involved. The community and the district leadership are expected to give the construction works the right of way. Meanwhile, communities along this road will in turn benefit at the initial stage by accommodating the workers, supplying food, materials like gravel, sand, hardcore and cement. The cost of construction works on Olilimi Gachali Road is expected to be 803 million Uganda shillings and is expected to be completed at the end of June this year. Etole Ed Archangel, UBC News.
Moving on, the state of insecurity along the northern bypass continues to be a matter of security concern that has put lives of many in harm's way as the abandoned police boats turn out to be dens of criminal gangs raining terror on innocent civilians. However, police attempt to intensify its operations to close on the criminal gangs operating in designated hotspots is being stifled with absence of security lights along the entire northern bypass stretch down to the city ring road. Nasil Abdul Wama reports.
The skyrocketing criminal cases of burglary, assault and murder along the northern bypass has attracted us to look into some of the conditions facilitating vigilance sabotage. People living and those working along this Kampala ring road have different opinions about the insecurity menace along this dual carriage infrastructure. In the layman's understanding, they attempt to share with us how security can be intensified.
Security should be coming and taking these people, arresting them monthly or every quarter. They come and take some and take.
The public believes police patrol teams are usually misguided to concentrate more in less deadly points.
They just drive going this way, going this way, going this way, going this way. If they get you there with your bottle of water like this, arresting you. alo onatoa ipi waragi
neba ine ifemu bibatakola ki bibatabeerako like ne bakuuma distance ebeeramu ate abantu ne beka distance etabeeramu baki bantu.
By using pavers, metallic objects, bricks, people working along this road testifies how thugs use eggs to modify their thuggery.
Kwayakozesa wiipa okusimula amagi ku ndabirwamu kyabanguyira kuba tekyalina gyalaga tekyalaba gyalagenda ne bamwanguyira ne bajja ne batuuka ku motoka ne bagikubakuba.
This is one of the major roads supporting transport in the capital Kampala without security lights, which undermines security of road users. This road has taken 20 years of construction. Changing of contractors has been the order of the day, and it partly explains why the road designs that should have had security lights were messed up.
Even in Ikarere and Bwambale, where there are lights, security lights on the roadside, still crimes, those gangs, they go and do crimes.
At the height of insecurity and senseless assassinations along this stretch of Northern Bypass, government opted to install CCTV cameras to enhance the tracking of assassins and criminal gangs operating along the stretch. But the latest increased criminal acts brings in question the relevance of these installed surveillance cameras.
Ababbi bangi nnyo ku bypass emisana n'ekiro okuva ssaawa 12 ez'okumakya okutuukira ddala mpaka ssaawa 4:06 okudda waggulu.
Between 2014 and 2016, former IGP General Kari Kaihura introduced the concept of mounting temporary police boats along the highways and in communities as a remedy of bringing police close to the people and addressing insecurity challenges. However, these police boats in 2016 were closed and have turned out to be dens of criminal gangs where attacks on road users are planned.
This area is full of a lot of youth who are jobless. People don't want to work. That's the first thing, and they want to live a good life.
However, through Neighborhood Watch, security concept leading intelligence clues have been obtained about the operational and tactical plans of criminal gangs, and many have been arrested.
We rounded up a total of 78 suspects whom we, after screening, we have now processed 60 suspects.
Whereas police have made positive inroads on apprehending some of the criminal suspects, the force has some concerns which hinders the effectiveness on this speed road.
There are a number of youth gangs that are homeless and look for quick cash rather than work. So we really need to find ways of bringing the youth out of this kind of economic desperation.
And other road users at risk. These settlements are said to harbor criminals too. Abudu Nasir Lowama and Lydia Chomukama for UBC News.
Thank you so much, Lowama. In more news, in the first council sitting for the year 2022, both city councillors and the technical wing Kampala Capital City Authority have appealed to the central government top on its agenda to construct workspace facilities for the urban poor. Now the appeal follows an observed huge influx of women and the youth in the central business district who the city authority says the need to be absorbed in the structured economy. Fadlan Africa has more in this report.
The ordinance on regulating street vending is one of the pending bills that Kampala Capital City Authority plans to fast track to amalgamate the existing laws and regulate street vending and hawking. Accordingly, the current legal regime governing the city does not call for abolishing street vending and hawking, but only provides for licenses as a regulatory tool. Giving his State of the City address in the first authority ordinary meeting at City Hall, the Lord Mayor Elias Lukwago said there are so many city operations that are not guided and are illegal, citing the one witnessed in Kampala between KCCA and street vendors.
An example is the issue of trade order, where the much as the authority is vested in KCC to handle. The RCC Good Hussein is presently and arrogantly passing off as the alpha and omega of the same. There is an influx of women, youth, who aren't absorbed in the structured economy. If we don't plan for them, within 5 to 10 years from now, the whole of Kampala will be a market, and we won't have capacity to deal with the same.
The Authority Council Speaker, Zahra Luirika, said it was disrespect of legislators for KCCA technical team to enforce trade order before proper guidelines are passed.
I want to condemn in the strongest terms possible the high-handedness exhibited by KCCA enforcement team while being assisted by the Smart City and Seven Hills outfit to flush out street vendors during and after festive season without any consultation and engagement.
On reopening of the old taxi park, Lukwago said the memorandum of understanding signed between the technical team and tycoons to build arcades will not work.
From the executive director to the effect that an MOU has been signed between KCCA and the tycoons to the effect that they will relinquish the carpet to KCCA and take the upper space. Intervention because we have arrangements under the SUDA to reconstruct the old taxi park as a complex, wall complex, an integrated wall as a parking complex. My view is that we should repossess those blocks and the tycoons be given a refund of what they had earlier paid.
Meanwhile,
government has condoled with the family of Ezron Bwambale, a former member of the Legislative Council who also served as minister in the first Obote government. Former Minister and Ambassador Dr. Crispus Chionga, who represented government, described the deceased as a peaceful, loving leader who opposed the infamous Rwenzururu movement. Now, this was during a funeral service at All Saints Cathedral in Kampala, where all speakers noted that the deceased life was worth celebrating. Henry Okurit reports.
If only death was merciful. 92-year-old Ezron Bwambale would have lived at least this year to see Uganda celebrate 60 years of independence. It is a breakthrough for which he actively participated in fighting for.
He was the first Mukonzo speaking person who joined Parliament. He joined it as a legico. There were only 110 who went to Lancaster to negotiate for independence.
A peace-loving man who stood against the Rwenzururu movement has been described by government as an advocate for truth.
So if we pay tribute to him for that leadership and also for peace, then it is our duty in remembrance of this Mzee that each one of us, wherever we are, within our different capacities, we should do whatever we can to sustain peace. So in this regard, I think we note with satisfaction the work being done by the heroic forces of Uganda and the DRC in pursuing the ADF terrorists in the jungles of the DRC.
Dr. Crispus Chionga represented government at All Saints Cathedral in Kampala. President Yoweri Museveni and Speaker of Parliament Jacob Olanya contributed 10 million Uganda shillings each towards burial arrangements.
There is a time former ministers came to be honored in Parliament, and Mzee Bwambale made it. He came here and had a one-to-one with President Museveni. So President Museveni is saddened by his passing on, and he sends us that message of condolence as I have communicated.
The funeral service was also attended by Rwenzori regional area political leaders.
So Bwambale was the first Rugonzo speaking minister. The second is the late Amoni Bazira, and the third is this great man you see here, Honorable Chino. The fourth is Honorable Lois Bwambale, and the fifth is Honorable Chibanza, and the sixth is the man who is talking.
We will always refer to the path he took because it is in his footsteps that we are following.
A disciplinarian who always encouraged hard work is a fact that his children cannot forget.
In the Bible, you live up to 80 years. He lived up to 93. So that's amazing. Yeah, so I say parents live forever. They live with their children, within, around, and we have beautiful memories that we'll always remember.
Remembered for his role in Uganda's independence struggle, Mzee Ezron Bwambale will be laid to rest in Kasese district on Saturday. Henry Okrut, UBC.
Well, may the Lord strengthen the family and friends of the late Ezron Bwambale. In more stories, Kampala City Traders Association has asked government to lift the ban on border business. The chairperson, Kampala City Traders Association, Musoke Tedas Nagenda, says that the border economy has been crippled with many riders facing financial loss.
Boda cyclists have suffered losses followed by failure to pay loans.
We use bodas in deliveries. We are promoting e-trade, where bodas play a very vital role in deliveries of goods and even transportation of business community. Secondly, you find that even consumption of fuel.
Kampala City Traders Association chairperson Musoke Thaddeus Nagenda has a complaint.
If the government does not allow bodas to operate beyond 7, it's just energizing and promoting defiance. Because the fact is that bodas are operating. They are operating because they are being facilitated by security through corrupt tendencies.
On wrong characters in the boda business, Musoke urged security to increase surveillance.
We don't think that lifting the time for bodas operation can energize murders. We don't think so. And it doesn't mean that security should go back and sleep. They have the cameras, they have different agencies, they have the patrols. I think the operations of security operatives should continue and let it be more effective.
Boda sector accommodates low-income earners, hence the need to be reopened. Joseph Mobiru, UBC, Kampala.
Moving on from that, Minister of Education and Sports spokesperson Dennis Mujimbe has advised education institutions to embrace counseling during early days of reopening. This he says will help learners overcome some of the situations they've witnessed during the lockdowns. Details follow.
Some effects of the COVID-19 pandemic lockdown will take long to be erased by many, especially the youth. Most of these are now back to school but need counseling, which has been advised by Minister of Education and Sport to heal from COVID-19 vagaries and also re-energize interest.
We would like our teachers to be gentle with the learners. Don't give them too much content. Use the abridged curriculum to guide you on how much you should give the learners, when you should give it, because these learners, some of them have not been in school for a very long time. Therefore, they are not yet in the mood to study so much.
We began with talking to them as a whole, and we went at class level. Then we are going to identify those ones who need more attention, and we still guide and counsel them.
So now that the students are back, we are trying our best to bring them back, to bring their hearts first. The body is here, but their souls and the mind are not yet back because of what they have gone through. So, what we have started with is we have started with a retreat. We are organizing a retreat And right now the sessions are going on. The students retreat.
Elsewhere, government has handed over 6 new blocks to Luwube Muslim Seed Secondary School in Luwero district.
I encourage all parents to bring their children to study at Luwube Seed Secondary School because it is a government-aided school. It is a free service. We have universal secondary education.
The construction, executed by Techno 3 Uganda Limited, cost about 2.4 billion shillings.
We wish to thank the government of Uganda for such a mega project that it has put in place. The Luwube Muslim Seed Senior Secondary School. We thank the government of Uganda for giving back to the community.
Luwube Muslim Seed Senior Secondary School in Luwero district has 27 teachers and had a pre-COVID-19 enrollment of 350 students.
Well, unfortunately or fortunately, whatever happens or whatever you're thinking of, we've come to the end of UBC News Tonight today on the 13th of January 2022. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Sharon Kyomugisha with Elizabeth Nakakoni in Sign Language. We'll have to let you watch Cape Verde versus Burkina Faso, which is the next match in regards to the AFCON matches. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good night.